Welcome, everybody. Season 2, Episode 4 of Outside the Barn. I am one third of the Outside the Barn cast, along with me, my co host Trevor Mbakwe and Blake Hoffaber.
What's up?
Hey, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. All
We
right,
get
I'm
some
going to jump
good
in.
stuff to talk about with the Gophers, the Big Ten wins. I'm excited. This is the first time we've done it on this show in a long time.
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited. I saw a lot of Trevor there on the screen yesterday, Trev. It was a lot of screen time during the game. How was it for you?
It was great. It was fun. It was fun just watching them live again. The energy is there. Students weren't there yet because they're on winter break still, but the crowd was still fun. It reminded me of the old barn, so that was definitely fun to see live.
They kept saying Joel Embiid's in the barn today.
Oh man, chill. Hey, wait, well, before we get into it, man, a little news I want to share with everybody, with all our listeners. Excited to announce one of our newest partners, Underdog Fantasy. So for all the listeners out there, download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use our code, specifically the Outside the Barn code, OTB24. As the promo code, and you get $100 in your first deposit. And if you already have an account, you get an additional $100. So make sure you download the app, tap in with Underdog Fantasy. Man, we're super excited for this partnership, and just support the cause, support Beyond the Big Ten, and support Outside the Barn. So fellas, let's jump right in. Like you guys said, we've been killing it. We've really been killing it these last few games. We're getting a little national notice. And I think there's a lot to talk about. So I'm going to start with you, Blake, before we get that full firsthand experience, Trev. But Blake, how's it feel, man? How's it been? Just seeing the guys actually get some W's out there lately.
I mean, it's great. I think we've all been waiting for this. Not saying they're the best team ever. Obviously, we got a long ways to go, but I think on our first podcast of the year and where we were last year, I think none of us would have picked what we're doing right now. And they're playing good basketball. They're playing. Oh, stop, Trevor! Stop it.
Hey, let's rewind the tape. What was my pick? What was my I'm just
you picked seven. You picked seven. But I mean, they're playing well, and they're playing well together, which I like to see. They're moving the ball around. I just, I go back to, man, if they would have just won that Missouri game when we were up 20-some points, I mean, what this season really could be at right now. I mean, they could be close to being, I don't want to say ranked, but close to being ranked based on their. I know they had a weaker non-conference, but they got 3 wins in the Big Ten right now. We got a tough stretch coming up. I do think, I know we'll get into the games a little more, but I said it from the beginning. The first couple of games, Elijah Hawkins was, I thought he was playing really well. Then he kind of went in, I don't want to say a little slump, but wasn't playing as great. And I think the reason why we're winning these games, he's playing really well. And I think, he's distributing the ball. He can get to the bucket. He can create shots for people. But yeah, they've been fun to watch. I haven't been able to get to the games like Trevor has yet, but been watching each and every one of them on TV, and it's been fun to watch, and it's fun to be a alumni and Gopher fan right now. Trev, what do you think?
No, exactly to your point. I mean, I think if we beat Missouri, we're ranked right now. We're probably not like 22 to like other receiving votes, and that changes the game right there. But it's been fun. We're on a 7-game winning streak. You can see the energy there. Like even yesterday, the game we started off slow. We're down 10 points, 10-12, and you saw there was no quit in this team. They kept rallying, and Hawkins, he's been a difference maker. If we have him last year, he wins us some more games because he's that primary ball handler who can make plays and get other people involved. And I think he's what we were missing last year, so it's been nice to have him. And Chris, he's been doing his thing. Like we have a little bit more depth. With Parker Fox, he's come in a game, giving us 8 to 10 minutes, great energy. And it's been fun to watch. The team, you can kind of see the confidence building with the team, and they're kind of rallying behind each other. And it's good to have Braden back too. I know he's dealing with some mental health stuff, but it's good to see him back. He made some clutch plays last night for us, and I'm excited. 3-1. It's hard winning. For us. But this is what we do. But no, it's exciting. Like you said, we have some big games coming up on the road. We have Iowa in a couple of weeks. So it's going to definitely be a big test for us. But it's a great way to start the conference season.
how was the environment yesterday at home? Like, did it feel rocking? How was it, Trev?
Yeah, it was great. Like I said, the students were gone winter break, but we still had a pretty good, solid student base. But the crowd was there. The crowd was energized. Everyone, big place. Standing up, and it wasn't dead. There was energy there, and you could definitely tell that the team rallied behind the fans, and the fans were excited to see what product was on the court.
And I think when you get wins, crowd will come, right? So, and non-conference wins one thing, but when you start rattling off a couple Big Ten wins, it's like, all right, gets people's attention again, and then it's like, all right, now the Timberwolves are doing well, but I'm gonna go check out the Gophers tonight, right? They're playing well. They're playing Indiana. They're playing Michigan State. Whoever it's going to be coming up.
And
Wins
it's really
get people in the seats, so we got to keep doing that.
And we're competing with hockey. Boys hockey had a game too at the same time, so it was great to see. Fans were still showing for basketball like they were for hockey too. So that definitely was a great sign.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be important for them too. The fans got to show up throughout the Big Ten season, in my opinion. Like, we got to protect home court if we want to get that number 6 or number 7 ranking at the end of the season. I think we potentially could get. The fans really got to show up so we can help. Really try to support that home court. And like you talked about, Trevor, we got to get some road wins. And I think this team can. I think they have a poise with them, like you talked about, Blake, with the veteran leadership with Parker, with Elijah. Like, there's something there, and with Elijah specifically, like you guys talked about, I feel like there hasn't really been a point guard, like him, probably in a long time around the program. So it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch, and it's fun to watch just he get everybody involved out there. So that part of it's been huge. That part of it's been huge. Other than Elijah, who's been the biggest you guys have seen like step up in your opinion?
I think Mitchell.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's shooting the ball really well. I think Payne when he's. I mean, I think they just got a lot of guys that are stepping up, but I think it all goes with Elijah Hawkins. How he plays, I feel like that's how the team goes. But I like the minutes that Fox will come in and kind of get those energetic minutes and get the team going. I mean, everyone's got their own role on the team, and I think that's something sometimes hard with newer teams that are new to a program to figure out your role. But I think they're getting at a good space, and obviously they're winning, so that helps. But the guys are figuring out what the role is. And we all know these teams, you have to have a role on a team, and everyone's got to buy into that role, or else if you don't buy into it, you get some cancer on the team and it starts going down south. But they're buying into the system and their roles right now, and they're playing well.
For me, what's good to see is that Parker had a bad game, to his caliber, but his other guys stepped up. So, I think he was 2 for 10 or something. 10 points he scored towards the end, but other guys stepped up. Ola Joseph had a good game. Hawkins did his thing. Cam Christie had 12, 14 points. So, we're not just relying on one person. Like last year, we relied too much on Dawson and Jamison. So I feel like this year we have other guys who are able to make plays and able to step up when we need them. So I think that's a winning sign for me too, because you can't just depend on Dawson to have 25 points and 15 rebounds and carry us to every victory in the Big Ten, especially.
Yeah, I completely agree. Their scoring in general, I think, it's just picked up. I think last year, they were, I think, last. Were they last in the Big Ten? I think they were last in the Big Ten in scoring last season to at least top 5 right now, which is a huge jump. So I think that's a testament to them just having more weapons on offense, them shooting the ball better, I think, from the 3-point line. I think yesterday, if you watched the game, Trev, I don't know about your opinion, but they probably could have. A few times I think they settled. I think we may have saw Joshua Joseph settle a couple times. A few guys settle a few times. They could have got to the rim. But, at the end of the day, I'm always going to be happy to see Ben Johnson over there, not stomping, not yelling, right? Taking him out soon and talking to him about it. And, hopefully, right, they do figure out when those shots need to be taken and when they don't need to be taken. But I think yesterday there was a few times they was letting it fly. I think they settled. Blake, it was probably cool for you. You were like, yo, I wish I was a part of this offense. But
I love that. I mean, if I were a coach, unless someone's being a cancer or a knucklehead, I would never want to take a kid out because he missed a couple or took a bad shot, because it just gets in kids' heads, gets in their minds. So, there was nothing worse than I love Tubby, but every once in a while I'd shoot what he thought was a bad shot, and I'd see, DeVoe Joseph pop up off the bench, and you just ticked off, right? And then you get subbed out, and like it creates where you don't want to screw up again, and creates a little bit of hesitancy. So I like that, Ben kind of has a longer leash, which is good. You can't let the leash too long if you have the wrong kids, but it is good that the team seems to like to play with one another. They like to play together. They're kind of family feel, and that's only going to help them as the Big Ten goes. But question I have for you guys is, and I saw someone mention it as well, but do you guys think, obviously I want to say we're a lot better than last year and we're playing good basketball right now, but do you think the Big Ten is down this year, or do you think the Gophers are better? I mean, the Gophers are better this year, but do you think the Big Ten is down too?
It's a combination. Just seeing some of the teams, the Michigan States, they're struggling, but they really don't usually peak, lately until like February, March. Outside of Purdue, I think every game's really winnable to me. I know some games, some
Wisconsin's
teams,
playing pretty well though.
yeah,
I don't know if you
Wisconsin's
guys have seen them. Like, I remember they used to score like 50, 60 points, it seemed like, and now they're scoring 100 points. I mean, they're playing good basketball. But I'm with you, Trev. That's why I kind of asked the question. Besides Purdue, like, it's wide open.
And that's why I love the way we're playing.
Yeah.
Like, we're right here. We could easily finish in top 4. Like,
yeah. Like Indiana's not that great. I mean, Maryland we beat. Michigan's really struggling. I mean, Iowa's up and down. I mean, I think it's Purdue, Wisconsin, Michigan State. I just always think they're going to be good at the end. So, and it's always tough to play there, but they've been struggling. So yeah, it's a weird year in the Big Ten, at least.
It sounds like my ranking prediction is what's going to come to fruition. Most likely is what you're saying.
It sounds like
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, because you still owe me a dinner. Then it'll cancel each other out. But but no, I hope you guys are right. But I think the next 4 games is going to be pretty telling. I mean, I think we got Indiana on Friday. I think Iowa's in there, Michigan State's on there, and then Wisconsin, I believe. So, to Trev's point, though, well, going to Trev's point, but first and foremost, I've said it for like 20 years, it seems like, but we got to protect Williams Arena and home court, especially in the Big Ten. And with a down year the Big Ten's maybe in, we can't lose at home. Mm-hmm. But also if we can snag a couple on the road, and it's always fun to do that during, winter break when students aren't there. And unfortunately, we've had a lot of home games during that, and we still held our own, which is good. But it's good to go to Michigan State when the students aren't there and some of these other places. But if we can steal a couple on the road but win our home games, I mean, we're going to have a good shot. You can get to 21 wins pretty easily.
I agree. I got to say, I'll jump in and say I disagree with you both. I don't know if it's that down of a year for the Big Ten. I think if you go back to the ranking when I was talking about that kind of pretty, high prediction beginning of the year, I was, addressing last season. I felt like last season, no one was really that dominant besides like a Purdue, right? Similar to this season. Like it felt like we were just that bad last year that it was just unattainable. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's different, and I don't know what how do we grade that? Because we never do well in the tournament. So it's like, what is a good Big Ten season, right?
Well, we have 3 ranked teams, so we have to compare it to where we were last year. So right now we have Purdue's ranked, Wisconsin's ranked.
I was just going to say that. That's not very many.
That's 3 teams.
I don't know where we were at last year.
Last year we had 8 teams. 8 teams made the tournament, 9 teams. So you got to think at least we're at 5.
We'll see. I guess we'll see where we finish up with it. But that's a great way. That's a great way to scale it. We might have to look back.
You get him, Trev.
We might have to look back on it. We might have to look back. We might have to look on this. Somebody has to do the research on the side. Let's share this after. We might do a poll and see what people think.
Man, Kendall's down south. He doesn't even know what's going on in the Big Ten these days.
Yo, Big Ten is a national conference, if you didn't know at this point. It doesn't matter what part of the country you're in now. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you're discrediting the Gophers when you're saying it's a little down year as well, too, a little bit. But no, I hear you when you say that. We'll we'll see, I guess, how the tournament ends up. Maybe we see our first Big Ten champion this season.
Right. But for us too, like, before we get, overboard, like, let's just take it week by week. So it's been fun just to see like this process and like just
Yeah,
see them
exactly.
like trending in the right direction. They're not peaking, but they're trending in the right direction. Like you would want them to start the Big Ten. So because we didn't have that last year, we beat Ohio State to start, and then I feel like we lost 5 games in a row or something like that.
No, I agree. I think they're winning, and also I think you guys can probably agree they haven't even come close to the ceiling they can reach. I think each player, even individually, can get a lot better, and they've all played pretty well. Like you talked about Cam Christie, he's been growing as a freshman, but I think we can all agree he can, get even better, get even more consistent. I think somebody that's jumped out to me is Pharrell Payne. I think he's played big minutes these last few games. Like game before last, I know they have like kind of a heart or toughness of the game winner y'all be seeing on Instagram when they have the belt. So Pharrell won that one just because of, the defensive effort he brought out there. So I think it's important for him just to keep growing too. I think it's important to find him minutes too, because I know he hasn't been starting, so which is a little interesting, right, compared to last season. So I know it takes him a little while. At least for me, it seems like it takes him a little bit to kind of get going. You guys
I
agree?
I
Yeah,
agree
for
with that, and I hate to say it, but I just feel like this team is a little different than that. They're trying to play a little more up tempo, moving the ball around, more smaller feel, maybe, especially with Garcia. He kind of acts more like a guard. So, I think it will change come, it'll be game to game a little bit, especially when you playing against Edey and people like that, right? Payne's going to play a lot more, but I think just the chemistry of the team we have right now and the style of ball they're trying to play, just at least right now, is I don't want to say not to his advantage, but it's not to his advantage right now. But he's got to find a way to get in there, snag rebounds, dunk it. I mean, when he gets those spots, take advantage of it. But I don't know, Trev, your thought, but I just feel like it's a little different style this year than last year, and part of that's due to the chemistry of the team, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and a lot of teams play small, like Maryland, they're bigs, Reese and all them. They're,
Yeah.
tall, skinny, like, more perimeter type players. But, I think he's going to fall in that 17 to 20-minute range. Like that's, realistically, that's kind of going to be like, when we play Purdue or bigger teams, he's going to play, 25 minutes because he's bigger. But I think we're going to see a lot of time with, Dawson, Ola Joseph or Dawson Parker, like that, that lineup. Just like you said, to play a little bit more up tempo. For me, I think the X factor, kind of going back to our preseason thing, is going to be, guards win games. But like you always say it too, is like like Hawkins has to be. We're going to go as far as Hawkins takes us.
Yeah.
He's been, he dishes the ball. He does a great job. Sometimes maybe he handles the ball in his hand a little bit too long, but I think just for him, I think he's going to be our leader. Obviously you have Dawson, who's going to be who's our most talented player, but we're going to go as far as our guards can take us and our ability to continue to shoot the ball well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
agree. I agree. I'll jump in real quick. I was gonna say with Elijah, Trev, he does dribble sometimes, a little bit too much, but it's fun. I think it's fun a little bit, right? I think it's something we got to just live with because we haven't had anything like this in the past,
yeah.
right? And it's something that Elijah's kind of got that game you can't really teach. Like it's not like a lot of just going to individual workouts with the new school trainers that we hear about right now. Like you can tell he's just been in an open gym just hooping, right?
Yeah.
Just playing, and he's also gotten a lot of reps in also when it comes to just getting it in. And so I think that's something you need when it comes to the end of the shot clock at times, something you need when it comes to getting the crowd going. So I agree with all that, but Elijah's got the game you can't teach, and I rock with it because I don't like all the robotic type game that you get out of a lot of guys and a lot of guards these days.
Well, I think, let's face it, I think we need that. I mean, to me, we don't have a guy that can just go one on one and create his own shot too well. So, like, we need a guy like Elijah to just dribble all over the place and get guys open and shoot shots. I mean, we kind of need that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, to Trev's point earlier with Payne, I think if I were Payne and all of a sudden he does get those minutes and people are playing smaller ball, like he's got to be a dominant force in there to prove like you need to put in your big guy to guard me, right? So I almost would flip the script around when he does get those minutes, like hammer the boards when he does get in the post, like take it strong right at that, Reese or a smaller defender to prove like I'm going to be the weapon against you guys versus, hey, I'm not in because we're playing small ball or the other team's playing small ball, if that makes sense.
Oh, for sure. just
I
watching
mean,
them
Trev, I
now.
feel like you did that oftentimes. I mean, a lot of times we were trying to play up tempo stuff, and then you would kind of, take it right at a weaker defender that's a little skinnier than you or whatever, right? And then they had to pivot and be like, okay, we need to play bigger ball. And then you got,
Right.
you didn't worry about minutes. But to my point, like you started being the dominant factor and making them focus on you versus
Right.
you
They come
focusing on how to fit into the game.
right. They have to adjust to us, not us adjusting to them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. With what's coming up, fellas, I know y'all talked about it a little bit. These next 3 games, I'm looking at them right now. So we got Indiana at Indiana, Iowa at our place, and then Michigan State at their place. I don't know if there's 3 bigger games in the Big Ten that you really have. If there's not even just for this team, right, and how big these games are for this team, just in trajectory that we're on upward, but just in general, like in my opinion, I know we've talked about it a lot, but like Indiana's probably the toughest place to play when it's rocking, and Michigan State might be number
I was
2.
gonna say that's the top two, I think, toughest places to play on the road. And then you got Iowa thrown in there. That's a border battle, so that's a big game in itself. And then all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, I think you got Wisconsin in there at the fourth game, I think. So it's like you got the next 4 games are legit. And to the credit, I mean, I think Indiana's down this year. I've been watching them a little bit. They got a big guy, I forget his name, number 1, I believe it is, but he's a good player. But their guard play is down a little bit this year. So I think that's winnable, even though it's at Assembly Hall. Michigan State's down right now. Iowa always scares me a little bit because if they get rolling from the perimeter, I mean, it's tough to stop a Fran type of team.
For sure.
But
and they're
also they can shoot themselves out of the game too, right? So I don't know. This is a huge stretch for us. I think out of these next 4 games, I would be happy, and it sounds terrible, but if we won 2 of them, I think that would be a win.
yeah. I don't think it sounds terrible. I think going 2-2, you got to think 2 of those games are on the road. So you got at least if you get 2 of those the next 4 games, because 2 of those games are at home. If it's 1 on the road, 1 at home, we have to go 2-2. If we go anything less than that, that puts us in trouble. Just because you lose in a home game, and those are tough teams. I like our chance against Michigan State. Indiana, like you said, on a Friday night, it's going to be tough. It's a tough place to play, period. But, it's a chance for our guys to make another statement. Wisconsin's going to be tough. They're going to play us tough regardless. Half the arena is going to be Iowa fans, unfortunately. That's just how it goes. But those are fun games. But, that's what makes the Big Ten special. Like, just listen to those 4 teams you just named. And 3 of them on down years, but that just makes it fun. You got Indiana on a Friday night, come back Iowa Monday night. Then you got Michigan State on the road. Then you come back versus Wisconsin. That's getting me excited already.
No, for real, for real. And I agree, Trev. No matter what, half the arena is going to be Iowa. I think that just shows how important it is for the fans to really fill it up. Like, I think I saw Ben Johnson talking about it yesterday, like, make sure we keep filling it up. Like, really fill it up. Even if you don't even have the tickets, like, you can't come, like, get a ticket away. We can't have more Iowa fans than Gopher fans. And that being kind of one of those main home games in the stretches, we really need to make sure that it's taken care of, that we're covered with the Iowa stretch. So
When
we'll
Hey,
I was gonna say, show them some love too. It's like they've been playing well, working hard, getting wins. Like, show up, right? And if you're kind of a bandwagon fan and a couple losses, like, so be it. Then don't come back. But I mean, they've been playing well. They've been rocking it. So show some love and get there and take a seat.
for sure. That's how it has to be. And then on those road games, I don't know. I think they just gotta stay disciplined. I think that's going to be a big one. I think at home yesterday, a lot of the crowd really helped them really stay in line. But as you guys know, when you're at Michigan State, when you're at Indiana, like, things can go south really quickly. And as you guys know, we talked about earlier with Indiana and Michigan State, like, neither have been playing particularly well. So they're going to be looking to get some wins too. But I agree with you both. If we can come out of this, potentially 2-2, some sort of way, I think that's some sort of win. 2 out of the 3 games here, I think that's a win there. I think they can make it happen. Fellas, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody listening to another episode here outside the barn. I think we'll need to tap in really soon here, stay really close to what's coming up here. But for everything happened, Elijah Hawkins, the excitement going on there, just to the whole team that's happening. I think there's a lot of buzz around the program. I think it's super important. We bring all the fans together. We keep pushing it. Everybody keeps packing the barn. Trev, you keep sitting right behind the scores table, keep getting that TV coverage. Uh, can't really close the yearbook, but I love to see it. Blake, make sure you actually get to a game soon here.
Hold on, Kendall.
Hey.
Before we finish, can we say, Blake's point earlier said none of us predicted this. Can we go back and can we get our?
Can we talk to our production team here when Blake said no one predicted it? And
What
then go back to the
you
prediction?
said 7, Trev said 8, and I said 9th. So we'll see.
I think it was a little bit different. I think Kendall was a little bit higher, wasn't he?
I might have said 6.
6. Then it was 6, 7, 8.
I might have said 6.
All right.
And
So I hope they do run this back, and then we'll play it at the end of the year. I hope you're right, Kendall. But you're acting like I'm way off at 9 or 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll play it back. We'll see what it is. But for me, I'm confident in the 6. That's why I need everybody back.
Move up to 5. I'll let you go to 5. Come on.
I feel like Kendall was up there. I think he said something high, and then he maybe
might be 5 or 4.
I think you said
5. Okay, I will say 5 doesn't sound all the way off, but I think I was 6. I think I was 6 though, and I was confident in that. Y'all trying to say it's a down year in the Big Ten.
All right, move it up, and we'll give you a chance to edit it. You want 5 or 4?
No, I'll stay with 6. I'll stay with 6. Trev, you stay with 7, and Blake predicted like 11.
No, yeah. I was 8 or 9. So we'll run it back though.
We'll run it back. We'll see what's good with it. But we got a lot of big games coming up soon here, man. I think we got a couple dope guests that's supposed to be popping on soon here as well too. So let's stay close here, man. But Gopher basketball is back. I want to give a special shout out to a few people with Beyond the Big Ten. Evan Turner, I told him to buy stock in Gopher basketball at the beginning of the season. He had a chance to do this on national television. He failed to do so. And now yesterday's price is not today's price. So I don't know if that opportunity is even still on the table. You can jump on the bandwagon late, but I mean, he had that opportunity. So
who's Evan Turner?
I think the lesson there is just learn from your mistakes.
Who's Evan Turner? Was he like a old basketball player from the past or something?
Yeah.
He was that slow guy, right? He was just super slow.
Spin move.
Hey, man. So it went in a lot. But that's so I want to give a special shout out to him. Special shout out to Travis Valman of the Old Terps podcast. He gave a special tweet to me yesterday about how his guys, his men actually were going to come into our trap. If the people at home don't know what that means house. He was going to come into our house and really take over our house. And that was his prediction. And as everyone saw yesterday, Maryland probably shouldn't step foot in Dinkytown again unless they're actually prepared. So Travis, I think that loss yesterday, I know the guys, they were the ones that went and, took it, the L on national television, but you're probably going to have to take that L yourself on the Old Terps podcast. So appreciate you guys for motivating the Gophers and everybody listening at home. I appreciate you. Trev, Blake, we'll have to wrap it up next time. So fellas, we'll chop it up soon.
Ski-U-Mah.
Everybody, Ski-U-Mah, go Gophers. Thanks for listening.